What's up, guys? So real briefly, I just want to do a weapons light comparison to kind of show you this light from Olight I picked up a while ago. I'm pretty impressed with it. This is the Olight M2R Warrior. It's been a really decent light so far. It's extremely bright. I really like the cloud, the spill, all the specs. I think the dual function on the tail cap, as well as this side button or the utility button on the side, is pretty impressive. The only thing I don't like about it is the aggressive bezel, but I just wanted to show you a comparison between a couple other lights. The first light I'm going to show you is a Primary Arms. It's an old one. It's their weapon light, but it's a goodie. It's an oldie but a goodie, and I got that on an AK. It's actually my home defense rifle right now, and I really like it. I do think it's a great light, but this has got me wondering. And then I'll show you against another Olight that is like a 1200 lumen Valkyrie, which is attached to my AR. So what I'm going to do in just a second here is I'm going to turn off this massively bright light to the side, and then I'm just going to shine. I have a 100-yard bank behind me with a bunch of clay pigeons, and so I think you'll probably be able to make out those clay pigeons from the camera angle. Otherwise, you'll just be able to see the spill generally and what kind of light we're talking about as far as directness and all those factors. And so I'll turn this off and I'll give you a comparison starting with the Primary Arms, then the Valkyrie, and then the M2R Warrior. All right, guys, here's the Primary Arms. A lot of flood. You can kind of see there's a little bit of blocking going on with that giant AK sight. Definitely some shadow. That's just kind of what we work with when you have an AK. Unless it stands off quite a bit or it's way, way forward, which I've never seen a light that actually didn't have to deal with that. Although this has been working really good and I'm really happy with it in my room, but you cannot see those clay pigeons at 100 yards. This is basically good for about 25 yards of pretty direct use. Yeah, really beyond that, it's not going to light up your peripherals very well. It's kind of just like room-to-room deal, but it's also not going to blind you terrible. So there is the Primary Arms 800 lumen weapon light. Moving up, I have a Valkyrie here, also from Olight, 1200 lumens. So definitely casts a more direct beam. This is usually utilized on pistols. I'm starting to be able to make out that berm a little better, but I cannot see. Yeah, I definitely cannot see clay pigeons clearly. I have to really look to see them. I'm going to say it is very noticeably brighter than that Primary Arms 800 lumen. And it should be 400 more lumens. It's got a more hot spot or a more hot center to it, which I do kind of like. The spill is decent. It's a decent spill, but it really doesn't do much for your periphery or your peripherals. Decent light though, definitely an upgrade over that Primary Arms. All right, and here's the last one. Here is the M2R. Night and day difference. First of all, I'm not sure what the correct term is, if it's flood or spill. I'm not a light expert by any means. Just telling you what I actually see here. What I see is that there's a lot to my left and right that is now visible. It's illuminating really clearly out to 50 yards and definitely a nice direct light out to 100 yards. I can see those clay pigeons. I can count all of them that are out there. And I can see the entire berm actually really clearly. This thing is just a little bit better than the lights on my car. I did a little test in comparison. It's a little bit better. The only thing I'll tell you is when you run it at this high mode, it's going to get hot on you. You wouldn't want to do that for a long, extended period of time. It doesn't last very long. It does kill the battery quickly, but this is rechargeable on the end cap anyways. If you wanted to just do a quick bump, if this was attached to your rifle or something, you can just do a light bump, and it'll give you a pretty dull, maybe something like 300 lumens. Then you have this utility button on the side, so you have so many options for what you're actually going to use. And right now I have it on Moonlight. This supposedly will last over 30 days in the temperatures I'm in right now. That's incredible. We call this the Moonlight setting, and it's extremely useful. I just used it on a backpacking trip this last week. 30 days without a recharge in these temperatures. Pretty amazing. If you hold that button down, it'll gradually get brighter for you or turn off. Really impressive. I like having that utility light on the side so that you can use it kind of just in a normal mode, and you don't want to, drain your battery or kill it real quick if you're going to use it a lot on an overnight or something like that before your next recharge. But if you need to, you can always quickly go to that tail cap, and man, is that bright. So there's a little comparison between a few different lights. Wow. I realize how dusty it is, and look at all the dust. It's dusty everywhere. Is it normally like this? That's why you have nose hairs. Look at that. Jeez. Super bright.